Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm going to give you a quick breakdown of a wholesale deal I did in Philadelphia. This is a really kind of unique one because this property was on market and it was currently under contract, and I was calling just properties that were under contract and touching base with the agents to see if the deals were still in process, or if they were going to be falling out, or if they're accepting backup offers. This is a great way to potentially be there to catch a deal when it's falling out. So I actually got the idea from Tariko Musa. I was on one of his trainings and he had mentioned to make some calls to properties that were under contract and take advantage of maybe the opportunity of it falling out. So I did. This is a deal that I closed. Pretty awesome. It was a $35,000 wholesale deal that I made. In fairness, I didn't pocket all that money myself. I did bring in a couple other partners. They each got a split as well. Still made, I think, around $11,500 each on the deal, which is awesome. We all kind of had our different roles that we played in getting the property brought in and then sold to another investor. A lot of fun. There was a duplex and a triplex, and I'm going to kind of go through the video and point out some of the things that are happening on this call and explain to you why I'm asking these questions. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to like, subscribe. God bless. All right, and last thing. If you are a new wholesaler or you're just looking to get into the business, I actually have a free gift for you. The first link in the description down below is going to get you to my new investors toolbox. And in that toolbox, I'm going to get you some scripts so you know how to talk to these agents when you call them. And also, in addition to that, there's some calculator stuff that's going to help you calculate offers. So when you get an agent on the phone and you're having a conversation about a deal, you can then in turn go back and you can figure out what you might need to offer them. It's the first link in the description. I hope you guys enjoy. Yeah, hi, is this Kia?
Yeah.
Hi, Kia, this is Johnny. Are you the listing agent on the property over on Old York Road?
Which one?
That's a great question. The one I'm looking at is 4823.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So I see the property is under contract. Is that accurate?
We are looking at this point for backup offers because that buyer is pretty much thinking about walking. So at this point, I have a relationship with that buyer. If I find something else or somebody else is interested, we'll probably just terminate at this point.
So you guys are taking backup offers? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I thought I actually made it active. I do still have it active on the contract. I need to change that. Because I don't want that to discourage people, but yeah, we are taking other offers because this person is, he's tried to hang in there for a while, but I finally have made some headway with getting people in there.
So I was reading the property description. So this seller has 4828 and 4823. Was your current buyer under contract on both those units?
No. So 4823 is the one across the street. That is the one that has the hair salon on the first floor, and there's two one-bedroom units above it.
Okay, what is he asking for that property?
He's asking $275, but he's at this point he's very motivated because he just kind of wants to move on because he's relocating. So that price is flexible.
So I guess here's the thing. So I'm definitely interested in both the properties. Of course, if the number's right. I guess my question is what is the number if you wanted to bundle both of those? What is the number that gets the deal done?
He never actually gave me a set number. I mean, pretty much at this point, if somebody presents something, I'll discuss it with him, and he's, like I said, he's kind of open. I mean, before we were having a big issue with the tenants letting us in. They were afraid they were just going to be kicked out, but now we don't have so much of that problem. The first floor tenant in the duplex has left already because he figured he might just give it, because they weren't accommodating. He asked them to leave, and they were both on month-to-month leases. He's gone. The second floor tenant asked if somebody's not willing to allow her to stay and continue there, but they give her, she asked us for another month. She's on a month-to-month as well.
What were those tenants paying for those?
well under market. They were paying $800 a month. So I did tell the second floor tenant, if then a new buyer allows her to stay, that they would 9 times out of 10 want to increase the rent, because that's not the average rent around here. And she understands that. You know, she just didn't want to feel like somebody was going to come in and kick her on the street tomorrow. So, but she understands that, because we're actually trying to help her look for something as a backup, just in case somebody wants the whole building vacant.
Okay, got it. So then just in terms of the condition of the property, I mean, it's always, my thing is, it's always whenever I see a property on the market for, you know, 100 plus days, and then, you know, buyers falling out, like, why is this particular buyer?
It's really the tenant.
It's the tenants?
Like, both tenants they would say okay to a showing, not allow the people in. That's been, we literally just got over this hurdle within the last week.
Okay.
Because the seller was adamant for it to stay up, but they would not budge on letting anybody in.
Oh my gosh, it's so irritating.
Yeah.
Oh my.
So the one across the street, I had a similar issue with the first floor tenant. Like, he would say, okay, I'll be there to let somebody see my unit, and of course wouldn't let anybody in, or act like he didn't hear the door. The third unit is vacant over there, and of course the hair salon, you know, they're there during business hours, and you know, they know what's going on.
So is the hair salon, is that part of the unit?
Yes.
It is. And
so when you come in, it's gated, and there's a door in front of you, and that's the first level. That's the hair salon. So the hair salon is the one that has access to the basement. But when you go through the gate, if you go to the right, there's a door, and that's the door that leads to the 2 apartments.
Okay, got it. I'm just making notes over here.
No.
Okay, so I just want to do a quick timeout real quick. Okay, I just want to kind of recap some of the stuff that I've talked about on this call, why I asked some of the questions that I did ask. So the very first thing is that you'll notice at the very beginning when I'm talking to the agent, I actually mentioned like, hey, I see this property has been, you know, the property's under contract. Is it falling out, right? So I'm asking that question. I want to know, and the reason I'm saying that is because if I'm calling a property that's under contract and I don't mention like, hey, is this buyer going to perform? I don't say that. The agent's probably like, why the heck are you calling me, right? So I want to say that like, hey, is this buyer going to perform? Now, here's the thing. If she were to tell me, yes, this buyer is going to perform, we're getting ready to close escrow, I probably would just make a quick introduction and maybe ask if she had any other properties that were maybe not selling, or if she had any off-market properties. Hey, Miss So-and-so, just want to introduce myself. My name is John Pagnini. I'm an investor and I'm looking for rehab properties, and I'm just curious to know if you have any maybe properties that are just that would need cash offers that are either on market and not moving, or maybe you have some stuff that is off market coming up that maybe I can make an offer on, or you could write an offer for me. That's probably what I would do if she would say, yes, this buyer is going to perform, but that's not what happened. So I just kind of went into it. I want to point out, I did ask a couple questions, right? I want to know, you know, why is this property falling out of contract? Because I don't want to be like buyer number 2, right? I don't want to go into a deal and then have the same situation where I put the property under contract and then it falls out for the exact same reason. It's kind of like, tell me what's going on so that way we don't have the exact same situation. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. You'll also notice that I ask, what gets this deal done? So I noticed in the notes that it says, you know, there's like there's another property that's also, you know, the owner's wanting to sell. So for me, I'm like, awesome. She says that he's motivated. I'm like, awesome. Let's see what we can do if we're going to bundle these things. So just a little side note, make sure you're reading the description on the property. You probably are, but sometimes, you know, you'll find these little gem lines like this, and I saw it. I'm like, this is awesome. And I just asked her, like, what is it going to get it done if we bundle both these properties together? Because a lot of times, if it's like a portfolio type situation like that, where you can buy 2 properties at one time, they'll be motivated to sell both of them at the exact same time, and they'll come down on the price. So then I just asked the question, what gets this done? And then I'm quiet. Usually the agent will say, well, you know, put together an offer, or you know, put a number out there, or put something in writing or something. This is usually what they'll say. But sometimes they'll tell you, anything around this number, I think my buyer will be open to. So I like to ask that question because I want to know, are they going to tell me? Maybe they'll tell me like, you know, a really amazing number, and I'm like, cool, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? So always ask that question. What gets us done? Have them speak first. So a couple of other things that you'll notice is, I don't, like, she's talking about these two properties, and I don't know what she's talking about. She's like, this property, and she's giving me bedroom counts and rents and stuff, and then she's giving me the other property, and a lot of the time when I'm listening, I don't have any idea what she's talking about. I don't want to say I don't have any idea, but I don't know which property she's talking about. So her as the agent, she knows, you know, there's one duplex and one triplex, and they've got renters here, and they've got a hair salon over here, and all these things. I'm just trying to like follow along, right? So I'm asking questions, I'm trying to piece it all together, and I'm just trying to keep the conversation flowing. I can ask clarifying questions later, but I want to just, you know, keep the conversation going and keep her talking and telling me what's actually happening. But the reality is I don't really know. I'm trying to just kind of piece it together. I'm like a detective. And one of the things that I'm doing on the call is I'm taking a lot of notes. And I tell her that. I'm like, yeah, I'm just taking notes. Because sometimes there's like this awkward silence. And when I'm taking that time to write notes, I'm, you know, making mental, you know, I'm making these notes, but I'm also thinking, what else do I need to be asking around this particular point so I get clarification and have clarity on this property and if it's going to work. And then I start asking about the leases. I want to know, you know, are these long-term leases? What are the tenants like and those types of things? And of course, I want to know what the rates that they're paying on those leases are. But I also want to ask her, because she knows this area, you know, hey, Miss Agent, what are the current market rates? Now, you always got to take that with a little bit of a grain of salt because they are the agents, they're trying to sell you the property, and so they could potentially inflate those numbers. But, you know, you want to ask the question, like, sometimes what I'll say is, hey, you know, do you work primarily in this area? Do you do a lot of deals here? And usually it's going to be, yeah, I do a bunch of deals, or I know this area really well. And so then I'll ask them, like, you know, then, you know, can you tell me like what you think this property might rent for? Or if it's a different type of scenario, you know, if I were to come in and put some money into this property, what do you think I might be able to get for it? If I were to bring it to like, you know, a 9 out of 10, you know, dump some money in there, redo the flooring to the kitchen or whatever. And then they'll start helping me formulate my ARV. Can you tell me a little bit about this area? Is this block, you know, maybe a better block than, you know, a couple streets over, right? Because if a property on street A with one configuration, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and then a property on street C with the exact same setup, they may have two totally different ARVs. And the reason is because, you know, where they're located. Maybe one has a view, maybe one doesn't have a view, maybe one is a really bad street where there's, you know, drug and gang activity, and the other one is not. Like, oh, that block is known for this type of thing. So you want to ask the agents because they're going to give you that information. The other thing is that you'll notice that I start asking about the mortgage. Is there a mortgage? Is there a balance? Is it paid off? Is it free and clear? And these types of things. And she starts giving me the information. Then I ask her, do you think this buyer would be open to some sort of seller finance or creative finance? And then here's the thing. I'm not going into this conversation trying to pitch subject to or seller finance. I'm not giving terms. I'm not making offers. I'm not doing any of those things. I'm just getting information so then I can come back, I can go offline, I can get off the call, and then I can come back and put the numbers in front of her and in front of the seller. And so, again, this is just like data collection, go offline, do some homework. And then lastly, what I'll do is I'll ask her, hey, are you able to write this offer for me? So, of course, you know, if she is the listing agent and she now has a buyer coming to the table and she's going to get both sides of those commissions, she's certainly going to be really excited to present that offer. So we're always doing that. Plus, you know, having an agent that is representing you on the buyer side and they're making some money, this agent is awesome. Since I've closed this deal, she is constantly sending me new opportunities. Create that relationship and have her continue to send me deals. So that's it. I just want to give you a quick breakdown kind of mid-video, and then I'll let you get back into it.
They're not happy with the landlord, so of course they weren't happy with any of us. That's
Isn't that fun? You're just like that. You're like the therapist and the realtor at the same time. So irritating. I totally get it. Okay, so just to kind of recap, the property at 4823 Their one unit is vacant, right? You're saying the first floor is vacant?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, vacant. I just want to make sure I get my stuff here. Vacant, and then the second floor, it does have tenants. They're paying 800 a month, and that's month to month.
She's on a month to month. She is in the process of looking for some places. We are showing her some stuff. I think honestly, if somebody came in and and they wanted her to stay and it was a good fit, I think she would want to. She knows her rent would go up. Once I sat down and talked to her, it was like, okay, I get it. Like, you're mad at him. You don't know who to trust, so you're not letting anybody in. And she kind of just felt like she was going to be displaced, but she was very angry at first, so she wouldn't talk to anybody.
Well, if I mean, the best case scenario for everybody is to keep her there. I mean, even if it's not bumping the rent to full market, at least it keeps the unit, paying. So my question is like the first floor duplex. I mean, and I can do some homework too, but I for sure you would know better than me. The first floor. What do you think the market rent is for a unit like that today?
About $1,200 at least. I mean, because they're both 2-bedroom units. The first floor is not bad at all. The tenant left it in pretty nice shape. I met him at the walkthrough again, and we talked for a while. Even the second floor, it's not like, she said there's some little issues, but she's done a lot of stuff. So I do think it needs like some newer windows from what I observed. And I do believe there might be a little bit of electrical needed, to be honest, because she said she's had problems with something connected with her heat, and the landlord told me that he was aware of something electrical that needed to be repaired. And he's out the country, so I mean, it's just been a little bit of a challenge.
And then what about like what about the roof? How's the roof on the property?
I honestly don't know. He couldn't give me a date. We're talking about 4823. He couldn't remember a date of like when anything was done. When I got this, he was already out the country. So I've been going through like a family member of his and talking to him.
Okay.
While he's been going, so it wasn't like the traditional we walk through together type of listing appointment.
Right.
The one across the street, 4828. The brother said he was not aware of any roof issues, but I did see staining in the third floor hallway of maybe something old. So he didn't have clarity to me if it was something that was addressed and maybe inside wasn't addressed. Because I told him I saw a little bit of a stain in the corner. But that was the only evidence that made me question what was going on. At some point.
Okay. Okay. And then just to be, so I think I'm all square on that, on the 4823. So then the 4828, that's the one with the hair salon. How big is that hair salon? Does it take up the entire bottom of the property?
Yes.
Just making some notes. And then there's it sounds like there's a unit in the basement and then 2 units above. Is that what you were saying?
No, so the hair salon has access to the basement, and that's just an unfinished basement where she has some storage down there, and everything else is down there, like the hot water heater and everything. You actually go through another door, which is to the right, because there's a gate. It's gated, and then when you open the gate, there's a door to the right, and there's a door in front of you. The door to the right leads to a set of steps that when you get to the one landing is the one unit, and then you go up another flight of steps, and that's where the third unit
Okay. So then the first unit is that's a 2-1? Are they both 2-1s? Is that what you were saying?
No, yeah, there are 2 1-bedroom units and on 28. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Awesome. And then so you're saying that's the one that you did see a little bit of staining on the ceiling, in regards to just like the windows, the electrical needs, like, is there anything I should know about that property in terms of just potential like rehab and stuff like that?
I mean, the kitchen is, I know somebody would want to put a better kitchen in there. You know, just like the stove, written like a little countertop. It wasn't anything like to be excited about, but
Right.
but other than that, the little staining, no. I mean, the hair salon is in pretty good shape. You know, she kept it up pretty well. Those are the only things that I noticed from when I walked through.
Do you know how long that the tenant at the hair salon has been there, and what the agreement looks like in terms of the lease?
Everybody apparently he put on a month to month. She's been there for some years, but she's on a month to month as well.
Okay. And then do you know what she's paying?
And she's paying, I think she's paying like $800 a month. I mean, it's like these rent prices. I'm like, really?
Seems really cheap.
Yeah.
Okay. and then there's
second floor tenant.
Yep.
Because he's one bedroom. I believe she's paying like $700.
So the second floor tenant, that's a 1-1.
Yes.
Okay.
And the third floor is vacant, but that's a 1-1 as well.
1-1. And you think that 700 is probably pretty close to market value for a 1-1? Do you think?
I mean, I'm seeing people paying like $800-900 for one bedroom units right now, so yeah. I don't really think so. I mean, I'm not sure where he got the pricing from, because even the hair salon, I was very surprised that her rent was so cheap.
Okay, cool. And then, do you know? So, does this property owner, does he own both these properties outright?
4823 has a small mortgage on it. I do know that.
And then the other one is.
I have ordered his mortgage payoff. I haven't received it back yet, but I have ordered that.
Okay. And then the 4823, you think that's owned outright?
No, that's the one that has the small mortgage.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one is paid off.
Yeah.
Do you think he's open to any type of seller finance on either of these deals?
I think it just depends on what the number looks like, to be honest with you.
Okay, but he might be open to it. I could always put together just like a couple options or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then what was it's Kia, right? I'm pronouncing that right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Kia, I'm Johnny. What's the best email address for you?
So it's my name, KIA, so Kia Brown, all together, at KW.com.
At KW, all right.
Now, are you talking more like creative financing, or
well,
you just trying to work with the price? Because that's the only thing I don't think because he's out the country, he wants to just be free and clear. He doesn't want to be tied to.
Well, for the property where he has the small mortgage, if he's not open to creative financing, like a subject to type of deal, that's okay. I'm more interested in potentially just like hit the property, the 4828 that's paid off. For example, if he's asking 275, like if he'll give me terms, like if I'll come in with 100,000 and he'll finance the 175 on a note, he wouldn't own the property. He would just have a lien against the property, and I could make payments to him on the, let's say, 175 or whatever. And sometimes that helps on the finance side because where interest rates are at right now, right? So right. I go in and I'm using hard money and it's at 8 or 10%. It sometimes can make the numbers not work. Right, because I'm like, okay, well, this is what the rents look like. This is what the cost of the money is, and if it doesn't cash flow, then there's no reason. Then you can't buy it, right? It doesn't make any sense. So I always ask. Usually with multifamily, not necessarily this small of multifamily, but like when it's like 8 units, 10 units, 15 units. A lot of times when those are paid off, seller financing is really common. It's not necessarily for 100% of the property, right? So if it's a I don't know, $10 million property, maybe we finance, let's say a $1 million property, maybe we finance 500,000 and do seller finance on the other 500, and that helps avoid capital gains and all that good stuff. But if he's not open to it, he's not open to it. It's all good.
I mean, I would say even with 28, I could work, even if it's a lower number, I could work with that probably more with him than him wanting to do, like, holding it. I think I would have an easier time getting him to be open to that, honestly.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
Like I said, I don't think he has any intentions of moving back in the country besides handling the property, like getting rid of them.
Yep.
So it would probably be easier for me to talk to him into, like, let's just move on and, cut you off. You know what I mean? Like, you're getting something for it, but obviously you're not here to maintain them anymore.
Yeah. Well, what I would do is then, if that's the case, if he's just like, I just want to be done with it, not open to any of that, I just need to do a little bit of homework in terms of, what the offer would look like. And then if you want, I mean, I'm a licensed agent, but I'm in California, and everything out here is, 100 times this expensive. It's so expensive. The market's crazy out here. But looking for properties out there, I mean, you could write up the offer for me. Yeah. Are you able to do that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, awesome. So I'll just do a little bit of homework, and I'll see what the cash number looks like, and then I'll send you either a text. Is this your cell number?
Yeah, this is my cell phone number.
Okay, cool. All right. I'll either text or email it, and then we can just get an offer put together for this guy and see what he says.
Okay.
Awesome. Kia, I appreciate your time.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Cool. I'll talk to you in a bit. Thank you.
Okay.
All right,
take
bye-bye.
care.